あサチ、準備は整ったし早速始めようじゃないの。第1回ツンデレ会議を。
Are you guys ready for the first Tsundere conference? Well, I'm sure it will be one of many to come.
みちる様、私は別にツンデレについて相談したいわけではありませんよ。
え、そうなの？私に相談って言ったらツンデレに関してじゃない？常識的に考えて。
いえ、私が相談したいのはおしゃれに関してなんです。
She wants to dress a little differently for our date at the beach, so she's not sure how to do that because, well, she pretty much wears the maid uniform all the time.
おしゃれっていうと服装とか髪型のこと？
その中でも服装に関してのことですね。
それを私にね。
はい、おしゃれのことはおしゃれ発信基地の異名を持つみちる様に相談すべきだと思いまして。
おしゃれ発信基地、いい、すごくいい響きだわ。
この小峰幸、みちる様の前衛的なファッションには以前から一目置かせていただいていました。
You know Sachi's just telling her what she wants to hear, right?
ふふふ、さすがこの私が一番信頼を置いているサチね。あまねなんかに相談していたら裸なのか服着てるのかわかんない格好をさせられてたわよ。
Ain't that the truth?
正直あまねさんのような格好をするには胸が足りな。
って違うわよサチ。私たちは貧乳なんじゃなくて、ただ第二次成長が遅れてるの。
私も貧乳とまでは言っていないのですが。
平気、牛乳いっぱい飲めば胸は大きくなるんだから。
みちる様、ここで悲しいお知らせなのですが、牛乳を飲むと胸が大きくなるという説に科学的根拠は全くないそうです。
じゃあなんでそんなデマが。は、まさか情報操作。胸の小さな女の子で低迷している牛乳の消費量を上げようという国家的策略なのね。
I don't think it's quite that involved.
いえ、違います。
And neither does Sachi.
それよりみちる様、わざわざ教室に場所を移したのはまきちゃん対策でしょうか？
その通りよ。寮じゃ落ち着いて話なんかできないから。
榊さんも同じようなことを言っていたのですが、皆さんマキちゃんのことを警戒しますよね。
Yeah, she's rather tricky, that one.
だってマキナよ。
そう言われると納得してしまうからすごいですね、マキちゃんは。
昔からバカと天才は紙一重って言うからね。
はい。
って話が獣道にそれちゃったけど、服装に関する相談ってどんなこと？
実はこのメイド服に関することなのですが。
ああ、そうだ、メイド服で思い出したけど、どうしてサチって掃除とかしてない時もメイド服なの？
それはみちる様たちがなるべくメイド服を着た方がいいとおっしゃったからです。
え、それだけ？
That's it?
はい。
じゃあメイド服が自分に似合うからとか、メイド服を着てないと大きな猿に変身しちゃうとか、そういうこともないの？
メイド服は動きやすいので気に入っていますが、やむにやまれぬ事情があるというわけではありません。
I don't know what Sachi would look like wearing just normal clothes. I'm so used to her seeing in just one thing all the time. It's gonna be different.
あんたって子はどんだけ人がいいのよ。
そうだったんですか？
マキナやアマネだって気が向いたらってくらいのニュアンスで言ってたはずよ。それにサチだって女の子なんだから、着てみたい服だってたくさんあるでしょう。
いえ、今までは特にそういうこともなかったのですが。
じゃあ今は違うのね。
はい、 最近ゆうくんがやっぱりメイド服かと口にするのが気になって、やはり私もメイド服以外の服を着るようにした方がいいのかと悩んでいまして。
なるほどね。
それとも私がそんなことを考えるのはおかしなことでしょうか？
そんなわけないでしょ。女の子ならもっとおしゃれしたいって思うのが当然じゃない。
おしゃれしたいと思うのは当然。
まあユージくらいの僕年人になるとずっとメイド服着てても明らかな文句は言わないでしょうけど。
I'm not so sure, but
あいつだって可愛い服を着てるサチを見て嬉しくないはずがないもの。
I'd love to see her in a cute new outfit, personally.
ではもし私がゆうくんから買っていただいた服を着たらゆうくんは喜んでくれるでしょうか？
Here's a tip. Never buy for a woman clothes because you will never get it right. You will probably offend them if you get the wrong size or whatever. And there are so many different kinds of like styles. It's something I don't even touch with a 20-foot pole.
何、そんなのがあるの？
はい、この前デートした時に買っていただいたのですが、なんだかもったいない気がして着る機会がなく。
それを早く言いなさいよ。プレゼントされた服があるならさっさと着ちゃわないと損じゃない。
そういうものなのでしょうか？
いいサチ、いくらクローゼットの中で大事にしてたってユージには伝わらないのよ。
Exactly. You gotta wear those things.
さすがみちる様です。私久しぶりに目から鱗が落ちました。
別に私がすごいわけじゃなくてサチがちょっと真面目すぎるのよ。
そうでしょうか？
まあ何にせよ今日私に相談してくれてよかったわよ。
You know, I bought Sachi that nice Vera Wang too, and she's not wearing it. Such a
そうなんで
shame.
すか？
だってこの私がサチにとっておきのコーディネートを考えてあげられるんだから。
Oh goodness.
はい、よろしくお願いします、みちる様。
3 minutes left. I'm waiting for Sachi just outside the gate where we arranged to meet up earlier this morning. Sounded like Machira was in her room a few minutes ago, but I doubt Sachi let that hold her up. I said we gotta get going pretty soon or we won't catch the bus. I muttered to myself and glanced at my watch, but in the next instant, there's the trotting sound of footsteps approaching from the direction of the dorm. Precisely on time, as
す
always.
みません、少し着替えに時間を取ってしまいました。
Aww, look how cute she looks. I turn around and find myself face to face with an unknown individual.
どうかしましたか？
Who are you supposed to be?
今の質問が謎かけでないのなら、私はあなたの彼女の小峰幸ですと答えます。
True, you did an impressive job reproducing her face, but there's a fundamental flaw in your little disguise. The Sachi I know always wears a maid uniform.
それは昨日までの小峰幸です。
Say what? Alright, don't jump to conclusions. Let's say she isn't lying. Is there any other way to explain this? Did someone spike my tea?
私がこういう服を着ているのはそこまで意外なことなのでしょうか？
Yeah. Almost as bad as that one time where everyone else at the table started pouring sugar onto their natto instead of salt.
それは確かに驚きます。納豆に混ぜるのはマヨネーズが基本のはずですから。
Considering her demeanor and willingness to roll with the conversation, it seems this really must be the genuine Sachi.
でもお父さんはマヨネーズと一緒にお醤油もかけるし。
No, I love soy sauce, but with mayonnaise, ugh. But seriously, I don't think I've ever had a simple change of clothes just completely transform my impression of someone like this before. In her school uniform, she comes off as a well-bred class rep type, and in her other uniform, she's the very picture of a maid. But the Sachi before my eyes is the girl I knew when I was young. It's like I'm staring at a vivid memory from the days when she'd pull me around the playground.
それで私が小峰幸だということは分かっていただけたでしょうか？
Yeah, I am, but why'd you suddenly take off the maid uniform?
それはゆうくんがやっぱりメイド服かと口にすることが多かったからです。
Yeah, I just said what I was thinking is all.
なのでメイド服以外の格好、ゆうくんに買っていただいた服を着ている私も見ていただこうと思ったんです。
I see. Most likely, this nicely coordinated outfit has something to do with Michiru's visit to Sachi's room just now. Not even a day after she got sex advice from Sakaki, come to think of it. I wouldn't have guessed it at first, but it seems like the school is packed full of the helpful types.
それにゆうくんはその服はお前が着たいと思った時に着てくれればいいと言ってくれました。私が可愛い服を着たいと思う時、それがゆうくんと海でデートができる今日だったんです。
For the first time since I entered Mahama Academy, Sachi's wearing something other than a uniform. And her motivation is a simple desire to show me how she looks in other clothes. I should probably be celebrating her taking such clear action on her own initiative, but to be perfectly honest, I'm happier to know that she wanted to look nice for my benefit. I see. Thanks, Sachi.
私の方こそこんなに可愛い服が着れて嬉しい。
I messed Sachi's hair around with my hand and her face goes slightly pink. They're pretty good sporty clothes. I mean, more or less the exact opposite of the maid uniform, but it actually kind of works for you. You look good.
それは本当でしょうか？
As soon as I express my thoughts, Sachi closes the distance between us in the blink of an eye, a serious expression on her face. Yeah, I really mean it. It might sound a little overblown, but the clothes look so natural on her that I'd almost believe she's been dressing like this all along. Of course, that's probably because I've still got a vivid mental image of the way she was when she was a kid. I mean, you know I'm not much good at flattery, right?
そうですね。ゆうくんのお世辞は皮肉になってしまう場合が多いですから。
Well, that's how it is.
でもゆうくんに似合っていると言われるのは嬉しいです。
Even as she speaks, there's an irrepressible, energetic grin on her face. It's not like her, in a good way. It's like I've caught a glimpse of the real Sachi, you know, the one hidden deep down, behind her iron wall of self-denial. Perfectly fine with me if that's enough to make you happy, but the date hasn't even started yet.
はい、どんなデートになるのか今からとても楽しみです。
I'm excited too. Let's go. Ah, the beach is beautiful. Aww.
穏やかな笑顔だけ見ていたい。
Is that from the theme song? Unlike our group trip before summer break, today we caught a crosstown bus for a shaky ride to the sea. When we arrived, Sachi trots out onto the beach a few strides ahead of me. Watching as he crouches down to play with the waves while softly singing her favorite song, I conclude that her good humor hasn't been dampened by the journey. Sounds like you're in a good mood, Sachi.
これからゆうくんがサメさんと血みどろの死闘を繰り広げるかと思うと
Oh man, wouldn't that be awesome?
ってしまいます。
I'm sorry to disappoint, but that is not going to happen, like, you know, ever.
ということはサメさんと敵対するのではなく種族間の垣根を越えた友達になる道を選ぶというわけですね。さすがゆうくんです。ラブ&ピースです。
I'm not gonna comment on your reasoning there, but if a shark shows up anywhere near the swimming area, they'd obviously keep everyone out of the water.
そういえば
I saw Jaws. That's really not something you should look disappointed about. But anyway, Sachi's clearly much more fired up about this date than she was on the group trip. I can't exactly criticize her for being happy, of course, even if her enthusiasm does tend to take a slightly bizarre form. Well, I mean, we're at the beach. So far, so good. I mean, what do you want to do first? We got all this. We can make a sandcastle. could do all kinds of fun stuff. We could go clam hunting.
ゆうくんが望まれるなら
That's the thing, right?
私はどんな遊びでも構いませんよ。
Even so, it seems like she doesn't have any specific requests for me. Okay. Okay, let me ask you something. Your trip before the break wasn't your first time at a beach, was it?
はい、まだ小さかった頃、お父さんとお母さんに何度か連れて行ってもらったことがありますから。
So, I mean, what sort of things did you do back then?
そうですね。浮き輪に乗って水かけっこをしたり、お母さんと砂遊びをしていたと思います。
Alright, water fight sounds like a decent place to start.
私はそれで全然問題ないのですが、ゆうくんの方こそ水かけっこで構わないんですか？
I'm sad to say I'm pretty unfamiliar with this sort of thing. Since neither of us have any proposals of our own, following your parents' example sounds like a decent idea. You're always saying how much you love them after all.
ゆうくん。
So, unless you have some objection to the plan, I guess we should get changed into our swimsuits. What do you say, Sachi?
もちろん、私は大賛成です。
What kind of swimsuit's Sachi gonna wear, I wonder?
お待た
Ooh,
せしました。
she looks really good.
水着バージョンです。
I settled down to wait after stripping to my swimming trunks, but it's not even 10 minutes before Sachi returns from the changing room. That was pretty fast change of clothes, by female standards.
はい、急いで着替えを済ませたので、何かが見えてしまっていても気にしないことにしました。
I really think that warrants some heed paying.
すみません。どうしても着替えにかける時間が惜しく感じてしまって。
Well, no, I'm completely lost the will to lecture her. I guess I'm a typical male in some respects.
それから水着は前回と同じものになってしまったのですが、
You are?
問題なかったでしょうか。
Oh, no need to worry about that. Novelty is always nice, but I don't want you splashing around in the water in maid clothes or anything.
わかりました。ゆうくんがそうおっしゃるなら、メイド服の出番はまた今度ということで。
Let me guess. It looks just the same as all the other uniforms that you claim have different uses. How did I know? Also, as a risk aversion measure, I like to avoid playing in densely occupied areas. That alright with you?
それはもしかして私の身を案じてのことでしょうか。
Yeah, I mean, it's no different from scuba diving or whatever. The first priority is making sure your buddy's safe.
バディ。つま
Buddy.
りここでの私はゆうくんの相棒ということですね。
I think you misunderstood slightly, but whatever. Unless you have an objection, how about we get going?
はい、心の準備はできていますので、なんならもっと人気のない場所でも。
Sachi's little flight of delusion comes to an abrupt halt as we make our way past the beach house. She freezes on the spot, staring fixedly at a nearby stall. Is something wrong? You okay?
見てくださいゆうくん。サメさんのフロートがレンタル中です。
Oh, so they are. Let's go.
見てくださいゆうくん。サメさんのフロートがレンタル中です。
You already said that. I noticed. You can just say that you want one. Muttering in mild exasperation, I hand over a few bills to the white-haired old man behind the counter.
すみません。このサメさんが橋の下に捨てられた猫さんのような瞳で私を見つめてくるもので。
Aww. Strikes me as a self-serving account of events.
しかも青ザメからシュモクザメまで取り揃えているとなると、どのサメさんにするか迷ってしまいます。
Don't seem very interested in the Shachi Orca, though. Get it? Get it?
だってシャチとサチって似てるじゃないですか。
That's the joke. You just ruined it. Oh, man. I see. The girl seems to have a fairly unique method of classifying sea life.
決めました。今回はこのジンベエザメさんにすることにします。
Whale shark. Good choice. Are you sure about that?
はい、そうと決まれば早くこのサメさんを海に浮かべましょう。
Sounds like a plan, Stan. Or should I say Sachi?
見てくださいゆうくん。
Aww.
私今サメさんに乗っています。
As we wade out from the shallows, Sachi slides herself on top of the shark photo and calls out in a happy tone of voice. So you are? It looks fun.
どうしたんですかゆうくん。さっ きより元気がなくなっているみたいですが。
No, I think you've just gotten yourself worked up to a fever pitch.
確かにそうかもしれません。このサメさんにまたがってからなんだか胸の高鳴りが止まりません。例えるならこう三国志の豪傑呂布が関戸場にまたがった時のような力強さが。
Ah, yes, the Three Kingdoms. There's a romance about that, did you know that? I've been wondering this for a while now, but why do you love sharks so much?
それを語り出すと2時間ほどかかってしまうのですが、よろしいですか？
2 hours? What could you possibly go on for 2 hours about? Just squeeze it down to 3 minutes. You just give me the Cliff Note version.
わかりました。では簡潔に説明させていただきますが、私がお父さんとお母さんから初めて買ってもらったプレゼントがサメさんのぬいぐるみだったんです。
That's it? You want 2 hours to explain that?
いいえ、本来ならそこから私がどのような形でサメさんへの愛着を深めていったかのお話を。
Yeah, I think I'll take a pass on that, but rest assured, I'm now fully convinced that you're a shark fanatic without peer.
ありがとうございます。
Should you really be thanking me for that one? Well, we are fated to part with Mr. Shark here in only 3 short hours. Better enjoy it to the fullest while you can.
はい、サメさんとのコンビネーションを駆使してユーコ
Oh,
に水を
is
か
that
けまくりま
so?
す。
Very well. You better come at me with the determination of a marine storming Vietnam's fearsome iron triangle.
望むところです。 ゆうくんは強すぎます。
Her stamina completely exhausted, Sachi trudges along at my side, moaning reproachfully. The limp, deflated shark floating under her arm eloquently tells the tale of our fierce and tragic battle. You lost because you stayed on that shark until the bitter end. It's severely limited your mobility, sadly.
一方、ゆうくんは長い間水中に身を潜めてからのゲリラ攻撃でしたから、出現予測も難しく。
Yeah, a simple application of the underground tunnel strategy the VC adopted in reaction to the American reliance on Agent Orange and aerial bombing.
おかげでゆうくんの体力は底なしだということを思い知らされました。
Muttering to herself in a disappointed tone, Sachi drops limply to the sand and draws a few long, ragged breaths. For that lengthy struggle, I guess it's only natural that she'd be a little tired. That said, you've got nothing to be depressed about. You did pretty damn good to hang with me as long as you did, honestly.
ありがとうございます。
Feel like taking a short break? I mean, we can put playing with the sand on hold for a while.
私なら大丈夫です。まだやれます。
Okay. What? Now she's a bloodied boxer trying to convince the referee for another round? What? I mean, so you say, but I just saw you more or less collapse onto the ground. And let's be honest here. You're not fooling anybody.
それでも平気です。あれは水かけ用の体力で、砂遊び用の体力はちゃんと温存してありますから。
Sure, fine, whatever, let's leave it at that. Alright, since you're that determined, let's move on to the sand castle.
はい、前回来た時に見つけた絶好のサンドアートスポットがありますので、誰かに取られてしまわないうちに確保しましょう。
Is that really gonna be an issue? Sachi pushes herself off the beach and strides off with a newfound determination. Mumbling a few dubious words to myself, I follow her in her wake.
それじゃあまたね、お姉ちゃん。
バイバイ。
目つきの悪い兄ちゃんもまたな。
Oh, bite me. After changing back into our street clothes, we say goodbye and watch the children scamper up the orange-dyed beach. To our side towers, a structure that's less a child's sandcastle and more an actual genuine castle of sand. Apparently Sachi missed her chance to build some castle or other the last time we were here, so the two of us began reconstructing it, but Sachi's silent, diligent labors, reminiscent of a well-trained recruit digging some massive ditch, quickly attracted a bustling crowd of curious children. In the end, we integrated them into a large-scale operation. You're popular with the kids everywhere you go, aren't you?
私にその自覚はないのですが、マキちゃんは話しかけやすいオーラが出てると言っていました。
An aura of approachability, huh? Come to think of it, I felt something like that when I met her as a child.
でもあの子たちが手伝ってくれたおかげでとても立派なお城が作れました。
I know. You can even walk in the doorway. Sachi gently runs a finger around one parapet of her masterpiece. Her expression is filled with the satisfaction of an artist who's fulfilled their goal, but also tinged with a definite hint of fatigue. Looks like you used a lot of energy, though.
いえ、レイちゃんも時間いっぱいまで私のことを見守ってくれていましたし、まだまだ大丈夫です。
I'm gonna guess that Ale-chan is her whole whale shark. Not sure where I got the name, though.
見てください、ゆうくん。海がとても綺麗です。
It really is, isn't it? And with the setting sun and all, it's a picture of beauty.
前に来た時も思いましたが、やっぱりこういう景色は素敵ですね。
Smiling fondly, Sachi stares off into the vividly colored horizon. Watching her face from the side, it's almost enough to make me forget about the burden she's carrying, if only for a moment. Hey Sachi, you have fun today?
はい、今日は私の人生の中で一番楽しかった日と言ってしまってもいいかもしれません。
You enjoyed it that much?
はい、サメさんの浮き輪に乗って水かけっこをして砂遊びでお城を作って、まるで小さい頃にゆうくんと公園で遊んでいた時のような楽しさを感じてしまいました。
Sachi expresses her feelings in unusual detail, gesticulating enthusiastically. Her happiness is so obvious that I'm forced to give myself a mental pat on the back for inviting her. This was a really good idea, you know. That's definitely good to hear.
そういうゆうくんは楽しかったですか？
I hadn't quite expected this question. I mean, for a moment, I'm at a loss for a response.
楽しくなかったですか？
No. I did enjoy myself. I mean, I wasn't half bad messing around like a kid again.
それなら良かったです。
But why'd you ask?
それは周りの反応ばかりを気にして自分の気持ちなんて考えていないようなところが昔のゆうくんにはあったからです。
Now you pay attention. So that's how Sachi saw me as a kid. Maybe I did back then. But people do change. I mean, you used to be a tomboy who'd pull people around the playground, remember?
そうですね。あの頃の私は本
No,
当に
you weren't.
悪い子でしたから。
You really think that?
はい。
As I suspected, Sachi is still plagued by regret. More convinced than ever that she constantly blames herself for what happened to her parents. Her voice has grown thick with grief, as if she barely suppressing the desire to shout out bitter apologies. Alright, I guess that's enough reminiscing for one day. Let's get going before the buses stop running. And when I cut off the conversation, Sachi jerks her head up to stare into my eyes. Is something wrong?
いえ、どうかしていません。
Okay then. Her reaction just now clearly suggested she had something to say, but I'm not gonna drag it out of her. After a moment's pause, I begin to walk up the beach toward a nearby bus stop. Hmm? Aww, look at that. In that instant, I feel something pulling me from behind. I turn back. Sachi's reached out with one hand to grab my sleeve. Sachi? I call her name, but there's no immediate response. You have something you want to say.
ません。
Hmm?
まだ帰りたくありません。もっともっとゆうくんと一緒に遊んでいたいです。
In response to my decisive let's get going, she offers outright resistance. There's no real logic behind her objective, it's a selfish emotional demand, and nothing more. To hear such words coming from Sachi's mouth is so surprising that I find myself entirely lost for an answer. And even as the silence stretches on, her hand maintains its timid but steady grip on the sleeve of my shirt. Sachi. Her face is downcast, her eyes avoiding mine. I can't make out her expression, but I can tell that her cheeks have grown red. Normally speaking, this would be nothing but a cute moment of selfishness. The sort of thing girlfriends are generally entitled to, but in this case, it represents a serious violation of Sachi's internal rules. I understand what you're saying, so could you let me go for a second? My words finally snap Sachi out of this little river, and she jerks her hand back as if bitten by a snake. Sachi bows in flustered apology, her voice tinged with regret. Judging from her reaction, it's obvious that her behavior right now was a pure spur-of-the-moment reflex. She clearly hadn't seen it coming any more than I had. Okay, I understand that was a slip on your part, but I can't promise you I'll forget it. Tell me something. If you knew it was a bad thing to do, why'd you grab my clothes in the first place, huh? Even so, there's no way you would have said anything like that before. So why now? Why do you think you said that, Sachi? So you haven't quite realized yet, huh? Not consciously, anyway. Okay, Sachi, I want to have a serious conversation, okay? Yeah. If Sachi's ever going to regain what she needs to be whole again, this is where things have to start. This is my chance. Slightly stealing myself, I stared directly into Sachi's eyes. Do you remember what I told you on the rooftop? Yeah, I told you I was gonna help you be yourself, right? Good, good. Sachi closes her eyes as if to recall the scene in question. In other words, Sachi, I was saying that right now you're not yourself. That's right. Blaming yourself entirely for events from your past, focused on being a more perfect good girl than anyone else, never asking for anything, keeping a tight lid on your own thoughts, obeying every order you receive like some kind of robot. That's the person you are today. Of course. I know about the accident on your birthday, and I know how you've lived since then. That said, I'm not going to tell you the path you chose was wrong. Why do you look so surprised? Well, from a normal perspective, maybe it would be, but unfortunately, I'm pretty warped myself. I don't want to judge you, okay? I just want you to realize something. Yes. In other words, you have to find the answer on your own. Why did you make that selfish request just now? What do I want you to realize? And finally, how should you live from now on? This is a formal request, and I know full well you can't turn it down. You're a good girl who does what she's told, right? In other words, you're not going to refuse. That said, I don't care how long it takes for you to figure it out. It shouldn't be an unreasonable demand since there's no deadline. So, do you accept? Thank you. It's a familiar exchange. Since I've entered Mahama Academy, I've heard it dozens of times. Faced with a request for help, Sachi nods her head and answers with the words, "Yes, certainly." The gears shift in her head and a new task assumes top priority. Secure in the knowledge that my order has taken effect, I once more begin to walk up the beach. On the bus back to Mishima Cape, we sit side by side in silence, gazing out the windows the whole way. It's a slightly unfortunate way to finish the beach date with Sachi has been so enthusiastic about, but in exchange, we've taken a crucial step forward, a necessary step. For the first time, the pathological good girl was outright selfish. In return, I offered her 3 cryptic questions. And what's more, she learned that I'm familiar with her past. She didn't know this until now. All of these events undoubtedly caught Sachi by surprise. Her head's likely packed full of questions, her mood unsettled and anxious. She's confronting a change in herself that she cannot understand, and she's struggling to decipher the meaning of the problem I've set up for her. And in these matters, there's no mathematical formula to apply in order to get a correct solution. No simple cause and effect like pulling a trigger to kill a human being. For that very reason, Sachi has to find the answer herself. I can't help her anymore. To realize what she's overlooking, that's her only chance to regain something like normality.